Hey, Tyler Buckles, what's
Yeah.
news, neighbor? Today I'm going to speak with her. Tonight, it's the Christmas season, and we're going to talk quickly about Tyler Buckles' family's home and the decorations you put together for the season. And you won the Waveland Park Neighborhood Association Prettiest Decorations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
I know, I know. It's an honor to be nominated, right? But you won.
100%. I'm just glad people like them. That's all.
Well, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about so I'm a not decorating at all person.
Yeah.
So what possesses you to decorate your house in the first place? I have to be honest.
Well, I don't know. It probably all started when I was a little kid. We always used to drive around and look at all the people's lights, and it was just something that I looked forward to every single year. And when I finally had a chance to do it myself, I was like, well, maybe I should pay it forward, and maybe I can instill some of that Christmas magic to other families that are driving by looking for some lights to see. So that's kind of how that all started. And then, of course, I saw the movie Christmas Vacation, and then you're like, oh, yes, this is what I need to do. That truly inspired me.
So did you have that moment, Tyler, when you put the plugs together and nothing
Yeah.
worked?
Yes, I've had that moment a few times, but now it's like everything is on a digital timer, so everything kind of does its own thing. I don't have to do the manual plugging, but there's been definitely times when things don't work out as planned. There's a lot of troubleshooting involved.
Okay, gotcha. So how long have you guys been neighbors at Waveland Park?
We moved to this home in 2014, so we've been about 6 years. We before that we lived in Prospect Park, so right kind of on the east side of Beaverdale, and so we just moved here not too long ago. Christmas decorations, they've kind of started growing and growing since we moved to this house, so that's kind of how the start of my collection has begun.
So when do you have to start decorating to get ready for this?
I typically try to get started in November, like right after Thanksgiving. But since it was unusually warm this year, I kind of snuck out here and there. And since I was working from home anyway, I kind of took a little bit advantage of my breaks and went out and did a little bit at a time. So it was kind of nice this year to just do it when it was warm and not have to wear gloves. So that was a positive.
Yes, it really was an ideal season, fall season for tents, right? So how much time is involved in decorating the house?
Oh, I don't know. It probably, all in all, it'd probably take about 2 full work days, maybe, if you put it all together in like the hours that I spent putting everything together. It depends. Now I have a little bit of it figured out, so everything's kind of organized in a way to where I can pull it out and I know exactly where it's going to go. So that's kind of cut down on some of the time, um, but then again, I'm always adding something every year, so it does take a little bit more.
Gotcha. Okay, so I understand. I think I heard through the Waveland grapevine that some of your the decorations you have outside are vintage. How did you come to access these pieces?
Yeah, so I don't know what kind of started that, but I've just had always had this affinity for older Christmas like decorations. Like obviously I wasn't living in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, but for some reason that kind of Christmas just kind of captures the spirit for me. So kind of over the years through thrift stores and online marketplaces, I've been able to kind of pick and kind of slowly start collecting some vintage pieces. So a lot of my stuff is from the 60s and the 70s. The lights aren't. They're all, most of them are LED just because of power usage, but a lot of like the display pieces are old. So
Cool. And I hear children in the background. Do they get involved in the
yeah,
decorating?
yes, we have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a soon to be 6-month old. So the 5-year-old and the 3-year-old help. They kind of come out and hold lights, and they try to be they try to be involved, which is pretty cute. So maybe they'll get started early, and I can pass on the the hard work to them later.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. So, so we're going to go outside in just a minute. I hope that's okay. It's really cold outside, and it decided to become winter tonight. So it may be a quick run outside and hold up and show us in a minute. But so how does your wife take to your decorating? Is she like, go for it, Tyler?
She's indifferent. She she enjoys my spirit, but she wouldn't probably be out there doing it with me. That's if that says anything. She knows it's something that I like to do, and she respects that. So
okay. And finally, I mean, we have a debate in our house about when the tree and everything comes down, because I kind of like to see it go down the day after Christmas. I'd like to see it all come down. My husband, not so much. So what's your rule of thumb? When does this all come down?
Oh, usually the indoor stuff comes down probably around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We'll probably take it a little bit longer. And then as long as it's warm out, I'm out there trying to take down as much stuff as possible, like as soon as possible, just because if I don't, then there's a chance some of it might be up there till March. So we try and get it taken care of as soon as possible. And just some of the older pieces, I kind of want to keep them somewhat protected for longer, just so they last a little bit longer.
And what do your neighbors think of all of your decorating? Do they think you're nuts, or do they think it's awesome?
Well, they tell me to my face that it looks good and they like it, so we'll keep it at that. I think everyone around here enjoys it, so I haven't heard any bad comments, so that's positive.
That's great. Well, if you wouldn't mind, I know it's a blustery winter night. We will not take long, but if you could go outside and give us the full effect on video, that would be great.
I'll just throw on a hat here, and I'll just do kind of a quick walkthrough on the porch of the stuff that's on there, and then I'll walk out in the yard and show the yard. So some of the wind has taken a toll on a couple of the yard pieces, but well, they're still there.
Okay. And everything looks good in the dark, right? Okay, put on the hat.
I could probably just turn this camera around. I think that's what I can. All right. You can still see me. So I do have like a couple of like these lanterns that came from a city. So those are municipal pieces, is what they call them. Some candles, and then over here is where I have, one of the vintage snowmen and a fawn, and then I have a tree with a sleigh and reindeer going through it. A couple of older pieces. And then that's the other lantern. And hopefully the internet still works out here. Can you still hear me?
I'm still seeing you.
All righty. We've got these pieces here. They're all old from the 6th night associations, and we glued those on together. And here we have one of our angels fell today during the winds. But we've got 4 of those and a little arch. And then we have a nativity scene that my dad also built for me. So it's kind of nice to have that kind of family ties, and hopefully we'll be able to pass those down for a while. Then we have our other carolers and angels. Oh, we can see one had already fallen here. Bit windy for these guys. see the snow blurring away. And that's a tree that I built myself, so kind of keeping into that mid-century feel. And then we have the angels at the very top there. So yeah,
I love that. Well, those are great, and I really love your nativity scene. That's beautiful.
yes,
And
that's
I also
definitely.
love your yellow front door. As you can tell, I'm kind of prone to yellow. I like yellow. So
Yes, my wife chose that color. I enjoy it a lot.
yeah, it's a very funny color. Well, Tyler, that is very impressive, and your internet worked really great. We got a little weird when we got way out there, but we could still see it, which is great. Now I see you've got a sign behind you that says Happy Holidays.
Yep.
And you have a very lovely tree too.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
My office tree.
Wonderful. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for doing this interview. I know it's kind of short notice and it was a busy night for you and your family.
No worries.
And it's a weird season this year. This is definitely a one for the books, one to remember. But thank you for decorating your house, and thank you for sharing a little bit about it. And it's great having you as a neighbor.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing the whole competition, and it's definitely it's a fun thing to do, and just kind of hopefully everybody enjoys it and they can drive around and see it, and maybe not tonight because it looks a little dangerous out there, but hopefully, as long as it gives somebody a smile this season, I'm 100% okay with it.
Wonderful. Well, Tyler, thank you so much, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much.